Hi class, in this video we are going to find critical values, or that z alpha over 2. So we'll be working two examples here. The first one says find the critical value z alpha over 2 for a 95% confidence level. So first step is I'm going to go over to my formula chart because I know that I have a section there called critical value z-score that'll help me find this critical value that the problem is asking for. So first off, notice here that my critical value z-score table says that the alpha over 2 corresponds to 1 minus my confidence level over 2. And then once I know that, I can input that into my calculator and do inverse norm 1 minus my confidence level over 2 as my area. My mean will be 0 and my standard deviation will be 1. The only thing that my formula chart tells me to remember is to change that positive to a negative and round to 2 decimal places. Now, we were asked to find 95%. You might have noticed that 95% is in this formula chart given to you. We're still going to find it by hand just so you have some practice with that. All right. So I'm going to take inverse norm, and if you have the old OS, this is exactly how you're going to write it on your home screen. 1 minus my confidence level over 2, comma 0, comma 1, and then close that set of parentheses. All right. Notice that I put parentheses around 1 minus my confidence level before I divided by 2. That is so your calculator does those order of operations correctly. All right, so now what is my confidence level? In this case, my confidence level was 95%. So I'm going to convert that to a decimal to get 0.95. So inverse norm 1 minus 0.95 over 2, comma 0, comma 1, and that's what I'm going to input in my calculator. Now let me go ahead and show you how that works. All right, so remember from chapter, I believe 6, where we were doing the normal distribution, to get to inverse norm, you're going to hit second vars, and then inverse norm is the third option down, so you can either hit 3 or tab down 3 times and then hit enter. All right, so now my area is going to correspond to that 1 minus 0.95 over 2. So again, I'm going to use those parentheses, 1 minus 0.95, close my parentheses, and then divide by 2. Okay, you can input it just like that in your calculator. You don't have to find 1 minus 0.95 over 2 first. You can let the calculator do that for you. Now, it already has my mean as 0 and my standard deviation as 1. You'll see here on my calculator that I have a tail that I can change. I can change that if I wanted to, but I'm going to leave it as left tail because, as we talked about in chapter 6, your calculator is going to default to the left tail if you don't have this option. Not all calculators will have the option to change the tail. Okay, I hit paste, enter, and I'm given negative 0.959, and my cheat sheet told me to round to 2 decimal places, so negative 0.96. And my cheat sheet also told me to use the positive, so change a negative to a positive. All right, so when I ran my inverse norm function, I got negative 1.96, but remember I have to change to a positive. So my z alpha over 2 is going to be 1.96. All right, let's go to the next example. In this example, we are asked to find the critical value z alpha over 2 for a 92% confidence level. This 92% is not one of the 3 easy ones that I'm given in my cheat sheet, so we're going to use the same method we just used in order to find this z alpha over 2. Okay, so that is going to be inverse norm, parentheses, and then I'm going to put parentheses around 1 minus my confidence level, which my confidence level is 92%, so that's converted to a decimal, is going to be 1 minus 0.92 over 2, mean of 0, standard deviation of 1. Okay? So we're going to then input this in our calculator. So second VARS, inverse norm, which is the third option down. And now I'm going to change that 1 minus 0.95 to 1 minus 0.92. Again, remembering to put that 1 minus 0.92 in parentheses. And then divided by 2, my mean is 0, my sigma is 1. I hit paste, enter, and I get negative 1.75. 0, so I'm going to round that to negative 0.75. And again, to find that z alpha over 2, I'm going to change that negative to a positive. And you're good to go.